Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the live broadcast. We're out here with the WTRL Team Time Trial. I've got Dave Towle next to me as usual. We're out on Santa Sequoia's 2 laps. We're trying something new today. Towle. This is like never before try. In the past I've wanted to. This is one of the best attended events out on Zwift. We've got some crazy heavy hitters. I didn't even notice that we're in this event actually prior to jumping in here and getting the start list. But Dave, I'm excited for this, but at the same time, patience with us today, guys. We're going to be trying something new. Following a Team Time Trial, there is no Team Time Trial events actually in Zwift, but WTRL has put one together. I've lost you for a second there, Dave. Dave, did you mute yourself? Just double checking real quick. And I've got nothing. It's on me. That's on me. There we go. We got you.
Okay, good. I was going to say, well, there you go, some chaos to start because Team Time Trialing is all about chaos. You and Martin have worked really hard to organize this. Job well done, guys. We're locked and loaded. Nathan, in the modern era of cycling, you don't see a lot of Team Time Trialing. It's not discussed a lot. Back in when I was a kid, this was a huge part of the sport. The Soviet team was so dominant back in that era. We took a bronze medal, the United States, in Los Angeles. Davis Finney, Ron Keithel, Roy Nickman on that team, Thurlow Rogers. But we ended up watching this discipline leave the Olympic movement in 1992. Lance and George and Barcelona were really the last time that this event was raced at that level. Some people hope it'll make a comeback. I'm one of them. I love Team Time Trialing. We'll talk about the intricacies of this event, but I don't want to jump on top of your we have one of the biggest stars in sport joining us, to be honest, out of the United Kingdom. Nathan, when you heard this name, I saw the good old Nathan that I love, that energy when you see a top quality racer jumping in. I'll let you introduce the star.
Yeah, so Luci Charles actually is riding for the Choppers out here. It's great to see, and she's got some heavy hitters on the team alongside her here, but obviously professional triathlete, 2017, 2018, 2019 runner-up in the Ironman World Championships. So Luci Charles, obviously a huge part of Zwifting. She does a lot of her training on the bike actually indoors on Zwift, and obviously being a time trialist with that section of her triathlon, this is going to be a discipline she's going to be excelling at. The start pens for Luci and the rest of the Viennas are about to take off in about 2:51, so we will be jumping in with them. But they have been a force to be reckoned with in these Vienna races. So very cool to see them jumping in here. I do have a little bit of a start list alongside of them that she is going to be starting at 4 minutes out. There's going to be their start time on the day. We also are going to have some splits for you that we'll be watching out for. So as the first of the espressos are looking to take off, we can actually see what's happening here. And this is in the C-Pen. So for a little bit of those of you who are used to watching Zwift racing, it's a little bit different here. What you're going to see, and the way that WTRL has made this happen, is that all of these riders are on a world clock counting down. As soon as this start pen says go, the solo riders that aren't actually a part of a team, that are not supposed to be in the event, they're going to take off and think that they're racing. So watch, you're going to see anybody who's not actually a part of the event, boom, see you later, and they let them go. Everybody else that's hanging out here is sitting here and waiting to get going out on course for their event. So with 1 minute to go, the first of the starters are going to be the first ones to take off here, as we are seeing. It does look like Ramrocket's here, Barclay as well out here. So I wonder if this is also our Barclay. Interesting to see. We'll see if this is another rider that's coming out of Great Britain with the verified badge. But as you can see, 4:30 countdown from Ooms from CLS. Now there are plenty of other riders out on course, and we actually do have live splits for you on these, and we will be bringing those in as they do update. Obviously, the updates for the live splits have not started just as of yet, as we're looking at the mochas here, as well as the splits that will be coming in for the lattes, as well as the frappes. The top end is going to be espressos, but the rule in the world of W2RL is that the women always go first. And so, as you can see here, the women in the results will be at the top of the list. But the boys should be getting out on course here for the C category, as we're going to be watching. It does look like the Italian team has jumped out on course here, as we are going to be waiting for the next ones to give a go. We're going to definitely be watching out, though, for the Cops team, as well as it does look like Jay Skipper out here and a few others that will be getting going out on course. But as they do start to populate, we'll be getting the splits. The race is going to take a little while, though, to really get underway. And the most exciting part, though, I think, Dave, as these riders are waiting to get on with the race, we are going to be over here. As you can see, this is the pack for the ladies and the Viennas, and we'll be watching out for the start of them and where each one of those riders. But Team Time Trials, as you were saying, it really a lot of times is about later in the race as you start watching the riders take off and really get to where they need to be, to where we can see what the splits are starting to do out on course.
Yeah, we just saw Luci Charles right there. So again, for people watching now who haven't been a part of the Zwift world, we're out on sand and sequoias. This is part of the Watopia world. Teams from 3 to 8 riders are going to be taking their starts. There's multiple pens here. Nathan has quite a challenge. He'll be jumping around and picking up teams. We mentioned, though, some of the bigger names to watch for. We'll be highlighting here that Luci Charles's team. It's going to be fun to watch. We're going to talk about how team time trialing, this very unique discipline, how to get the most out of your team when you're a rider like Luci Charles, when you're so strong. Nathan, we talked about this before the show. It's not about you going faster when you're on the front. It's about staying up there longer and keeping the pace as high as you can. The riders who aren't as strong, they'll rotate off quickly, and it's really challenging to do this in this format. So this is the most unique day of racing I've seen yet on Zwift, Nathan. So, but esports is all about pushing the boundaries here. Now, we also had, correct me if I'm wrong, but a good number of individual riders that decided that they wanted to come out and ride today. They're going to be out here for 43K. It's 2 loops on sand and sequoias. But Nathan, did I get that right? Did we have some riders that aren't on a team? Is that what we're seeing?
Yeah, and essentially they will be removed. Yeah. They will be removed actually from the results. So essentially they're trying to create a private event, but because private events are not completely public at this point to the organizations that are scheduling out there, essentially zwiftpower.com then is the place in which the riders are going to be either removed or culled after the results are final. Now you can see this takes a lot here, Dave, of I mean, look already. W. Wall here from the Cops team dropping his teammates. Jay Jones here. This is not the way to ride the time trial. It looks like they're a little bit off here on their timing right from the get-go.
Let me speak to this because, Nathan, I'm going to be really conscientious of not being critical here, right? But what you need to do is ride as a cohesive unit. When you have one rider who's 30 meters ahead of the group, it creates a very bad vibe. So you need to settle down, take a deep breath, bring the team together, and then start rotating through. Until you find a rhythm out here, you're lost. So there you go. Great job, guys. Now settle in. See, this is the ebb and the surge, and it takes a little while. It's a little tricky when you're on Zwift using this format to race. So I think their teammate then who is off the front will be able to join them here now, and they'll start working as a unit. Good job here, guys. So Nathan, it's tricky. And that's why, again, sometimes you see this in the biggest of teams communicating amongst the guys. There's been a lot of talk about Discord lately and teams being on Discord and communicating with each other. It would make a big difference out here today. You want to let the team know when again, it's not quite like you rotate as you do out in real life. It's more about just keeping the pace high, not dropping riders. And if you're ever riding alone, as you said, Nathan, you're not doing it right.
That's right, exactly. Now, it does look like the Cops team was able to get back together here. We will be watching out for each one of the sections that we do have marked down on course for the splits. The splits today are going to be at the end of this flat Flago Flats for the first time through as they head into Titans Grove. That will be the first split at 7 kilometers. Then we will have a split at the KOM, and then all the way around for another lap to the next KOM, and then the finish line, obviously, for the results on the day. So those will be the 3 splits we'll be watching for. We won't have any splits populate, but we do have for you the current course records. Now, we are going all the way down to the 1,000th of a second on it. But for the Vienna, the AHDRL Purple Armada, actually, with a 104.30.5. In the espresso, we're looking at a 55.26 from Kiss with Finesse, which is an absolutely insane result, actually. Now, we are looking here at Luci Charles. She is jumping out on course. I did have it set up to go and grab her point of view pretty quickly here in this pens. So here are the riders from the choppers as they get out on course. So solid result here. In Vienna, this is the riders that are going to be looking to try and break that 104. With the kind of hitters they have in the choppers here, I think they might be able to do just that. I think it's definitely within their wheelhouse to take down this course record for the women.
Yeah, the choppers could very well be in the top 10 teams out here today. Luci Charles showing her class right now. You see how she's not already putting pressure on her teammates and putting them in a box. What she's done, she was riding at the back of that group. This is pure class on a bicycle. So Luci Charles probably spends as much time on a time trial bike as anybody you're ever going to meet. Typically, that's going to be when you look at the sport of triathlon, it's the bike where you spend the majority of your time. I know the swimming is such a tough part for cyclists who move over to that sport, but Luci Charles out of the United Kingdom, certainly a favorite to be on the podium at the Olympics in 2021. Now, great having her out here. Good job by this team. They are really motoring now, Nathan. Just picking up some speed, finding their rhythm, as we said, very quickly. Bodes well for their 43-kilometer trip around the sand and sequoias here. I like the looks of this team.
We also have actually, so amongst this team, it does look like there's 5 women showing up. And it's so Luci Charles, one of the heavy hitters here. But we also have Laura Massey out here, super strong rider. She's got a couple of races out here. She's done one of these team time trials. So it looks like she's a recent pickup here for the team. 3.9 watts per kilogram last week in the zone 2. This zone actually for Laura Massey for the team time trial. Then we are also looking at, looks like Nikki Bartlett is in here as well. She's got one race, which was last week as well, with a 4.4 watts per kilogram.
Wow.
And I recognize that name. I believe she's got an amazing profile actually at Zwift Power. It looks like her 4th grade picture or something. It's absolutely so cute actually to see that out here. So little bit of a sense of humor as well coming from Nikki Bartlett.
That's that old joke about the greatest trick the devil ever played was convincing us that he didn't exist. Nikki Bartlett is a monster. So her putting up her 4th grade picture kind of I like the technique there. I mean, look at those numbers from Bartlett. So again, if you're going to ride on this team, you're a world-class athlete. There's Massey that we're looking at. Now, not all of the riders are coming in the United Kingdom. I just believe I saw the South African flag there. So there's a fun squad to watch, Nathan. I'm sure we'll spend a lot of time with them out there. If you could show me a team that's riding more cohesively than this group of women, I would love to see it. I don't think it exists, to be honest.
They're definitely. But here's one thing that is interesting. Look at Luci's setup. Out of all the riders, she's definitely the most experienced. I went to the ZwiftPower.com each one of their profiles, and they're all pretty low-level Zwifters, except for Luci Charles. Luci Charles is on an S-Works. She's got the dish wheels, and she's probably one of the stronger riders. We might see her taking a couple more poles because of that, because of the kind of speed that her setup can have. It will gain them a little bit of an advantage, actually, because the other setups here are a little bit low-level, so that is definitely something that's going to play a little bit of a role. Now, also on the women's side of things, we also have Team Revo out on course, as you can see, hammering away, and they are currently 4:15 into their ride. So good to see Revo here bunching up. Now, I believe there was two different Revo teams that did start out on course, and they were caught by one of them. We'll see if they end up riding together a little bit here for a while, but they need to break away, I think, the riders that did catch them in order to have some fair play. I think they are trying to do that to move on through here. I believe it's a 5 maximum for the riders. So we'll wait and see how that ends up playing out. We're going to try and jump back in with the C's, though, here in just a minute as we watch the Revo girls make their way through 4:46.
So, Nathan, the fastest time for the Vienna group, which these women would be racing in 1:04:30. They're going to shatter that. There's no doubt they go under 1 hour out here today. For the Espresso group, that would be the fastest category that we have racing. Think of that as the elite group. It's the Kiss with Finesse team that rode a 55:26 out here on this exact course. So Sand and Sequoia is a perfect testing ground, the proving ground out here on Zwift. So, Nathan, we're going to be jumping around. There you go. Taking a look at another squad here. Oh, Mr. Swart is back. Very active.
Schwartz and Boniface, and
look
what they showed up in.
Oh boy!
So I had a little bit of a. So Brett Boniface and the rest of the dropouts boys, they gave me a message and they said, showing up on the safety bike. It's the fastest bike out on Zwift, right? And they put the TT helmets on as well. So Boniface here and the rest of the dropout boys showing up, it looks like, and they are 3:41 into their race. They're going to be looking to beat a 55:26 is the top time for the boys in the Espresso group. Now, for those of you who are just tuning in, you're like, wait a second, we're watching C's. These are the top dogs. The Espressos, as you can see, they're on screen. The way that this is all separated out is so that not everybody gets super bunched up. And so the C category was used in order to kind of keep things all separated and then get the elites out on course in a good order. So it's all about ordering everybody, just like in real life team time trials. The WTRL boys and girls, they've done an amazing job actually scheduling this out so that in the same way you make the fastest group go last so that they're chasing everybody else, they've done something very similar. So the A category was actually containing the mochas and the lattes, which are the D and the C categories. So very good job to WTRL making this happen. Everybody on a world clock going on their own time, starting when they should start, essentially, out on course. Now, my question in Zwift, though, is that top time going to be when they actually started pedaling, or did it start on the event? I gotta wonder about that. I'm gonna click forward here, and I can see that this is a 5:06. And this is a 5:06. So it did all start on the same time in the top right. That will not be their time for the splits. Their time for the splits is actually going to be tracked by Zwift Power, and we'll be able to bring it in once the splits do start updating out on course. We are waiting for them to update here in just a moment. I'm going to have to refresh and see if we've got a couple of splits coming in just yet. And as soon as we do get those first splits, we will bring them in. It does look we do have one of the splits coming in here, and through the first 7K, it looks like it is going to be the Cops team with a 10 minutes for the Cops there across that first 7 kilometer banner in the Espressos. So for the Espressos, it's going to be as 10 minutes. For Evo Train, it looks like it's going to be a 9:46 in the Frappes, actually. And then as we are looking here through the lattes, a 10:16 and a 10:16 tied up by the Togs and the ISP. And then looking through on the mochas, no times yet for the mochas through the 7 kilometer banner. So we are watching the Espressos right now, and we are waiting for, obviously, the dropouts a little bit further down in the start pens, as you can see them lower down there around 7th or 8th place.
Did we get a check on the Viennas, Nathan? I'm wondering what we're going to see from Nikki, Luci, and company there.
Yeah, so we can go ahead and check in with them.
Not yet. Okay.
Here.
Yep.
They have
not quite yet. I thought they would have been just through.
Just yet, but we can go ahead and head on over to Luci and the bunch here in just a second, and we'll see how things are playing out. And here is the crowd. They're just heading on through the Oasis here at this point. 7:35 is the total on their start pens, but we do not have a total time just yet until they head on through the split. But this is on the women's side of things.
Yeah, the Choppers, the team name that we're talking about, that Nathan is now picked up on. Whoever was the code writer at Zwift that created this sector of the course from the Oasis through some of the sand area clearly had been to Death Valley. There is no doubt about it. So this team, again, this is going to be the benchmark time that we're looking at. The women's field, or the group, is called Vienna, and we'll be tracking that as all of our teams, Nathan. It'll take a little while to get everybody out on course here.
Like most time trials, right? Have you ever watched a time trial on Tour de France when you're watching? You kind of, we appreciate everybody jumping into chat too as well. We'll bring your questions and comments in. We can have a little bit of chatter about what's all happening. Obviously, later today, we also do have the Pro-Am going to be starting, I believe, in about 30 minutes to 40 minutes. So there's going to be a little bit of excitement. You can have two screens up and watch the Zwift Live Pro-Am race as well as the Team Time Trial as everybody finishes up their races out here. So plenty of Zwift esports to be viewing out here today as the times start coming in. And that's when things really do get exciting, as you start seeing people hit those times, and then everybody starts seeing what the expectation is to try and beat out on course. And so then you really start to see people starting to ramp things up. And this is definitely a much longer time trial than you would usually see. We put a day on a course here that is definitely one that is going to take the teams a little bit longer, I think, than we are used to seeing, which is kind of cool to see what kind of pressure and what kind of result that they can show up on a day like this.
Name of the game here, if you're the strongest rider on your team, is not to go faster when you hit the front. It's to go longer and harder and dig deeper. So, I mean, you go back to some of the classic team time trial events, always been a focus of, not always, not every year do you have the team time trial in Tour de France. It seems like it shows up one every 4 years now, but the stronger riders will spend more than, actually, let me use the perfect example here. Chloe Dygert racing in the team pursuit. She'll spend a significant amount of time on the front compared to her teammates, more than double. Usually, Chloe will ride about half of the laps on the front, and then the other 3 riders on the team will split up the rest. And they figured out that that's how you use your strongest riders. You don't want to be forcing the riders that are hanging on to continually be dropped off the back of the group. So there is a real finesse to the team time trial. It's even tougher to do out here on Zwift as we start looking now. Again, I think we're going to see every record up on that board broken today with the quality of riders that are moving on to Zwift. As you noted, Nathan, the team for like the dropouts, these guys have a tremendous amount of experience, but do they race a team time trial ever before? I don't think so. This is really, really new to Zwift. I would imagine if you went back, let's say 3 years ago, and someone said, hey, we're going to host a team time trial event on Zwift, it would have been noted as impossible to do. So really impressed by what you and Martin have been able to create here. We're going to have splits coming up from 3 different checkpoints out there before we have the final time for our riders. And we're picking up on the Spanish team now. These guys are motoring.
Yeah, the Spanish tier, TOG 1 out on course. There's actually a couple of TOGs out on course at this point. There's TOG Women 2, it looks like, as well as TOG here 1. Plenty of them that look very involved. Just so you guys get an idea of how incredibly popular this event is. We're looking at 400 plus, 500 plus actual starters in this event. So pretty amazing with zone 1, 2, and 3 out here today so far. I think they're going to be pushing well over, I think well over 600-700 on the day just throughout all the zones. Pretty amazing job that they've done out here with this. So now as I'm looking through the results here so far, we can start to take a look at the splits as they are starting to pop up on the course here. And for the day so far, coming through in the espresso, we are looking at the espressos right now, and it does look like it is going to be top team here for the day is going to be 9 minutes with LD Fat Stags there in the espressos, as well as the dropouts.
Dropouts too.
Minutes.
Yep.
Not the fastest time though, as WTRL Volendam as well as Dig Deep Coaching have both pulled at 8:36. So pretty amazing so far. But it does look like DDC have shown up to race on the day. We'll be moving our way forward here to see if we can find TDZ as Tog's being quickly chased down here by, it looks like, the CICC kit boys here coming out of Germany as well as Great Britain and Belgium. So always interesting to see as they do get chased down by a few of the other riders. Now as we are seeing 4.0 watts per kilogram. It's also interesting to see the differences in the heart rates out on course. Pittham's here. This is tactical. Look at this. Was he expecting to maybe take most of the pulls out here today, as we're seeing the TT bike maybe saying, look, I'm a strong man and I can just take most of the pulls and the riders can sit down on the wheel, as he will not be able to get a draft actually.
Yeah, that's an interesting choice for sure. Certainly there's it's not going to benefit you. Hey, I just saw joining us is Mari Holden, the Olympic silver medal winner in the time trial. Not team time trial, but there wasn't one available. That was back in Sydney. And she also is a world champion in this discipline. If Mari Holden is tuning in and watching racing on Zwift, we have come a long way. I know she's been involved with USA Cycling and the 2020 program, but I love it. Speaks to passion, doesn't it? Once you have the bike racing fever, you never really shake it, unlike COVID-19, I hope. So, all right, Nathan, picking up this group here. I think we're doing a great job with that.
Here. We're looking at McCann here, and this is Dig Deep Coaching. If they have shown up with quite the squad here out here today. They've got one of the fastest times, 8:36 right now, right up against the time that are Volendam. So good to see the boy, the Irishman here, McCann, right now. DDC hammering away. Addison's on his wheel. Gallagher's out here his way. They did not show up with Dan Fleeman on the day, as Dan Fleeman, I think, might not be riding for DDC quite as much. I'm not sure if he can cross over anymore since he is riding now for indoor specialists, and I think Dan actually is going to be out there in the Pro-Am, I would assume, with the indoor specialists out there today. So DDC here now with 4 riders, fastest time so far. We'll see what they can pull off over the top of the KOM, because that's where we are going to start to see some of the truth here in the Espresso group. We also got to take a look at a couple of the other times here in the Frappes. As you can see, 9:48, 9:45, 9:52, so about a minute longer than the Espressos out on course. And that's currently going to be led out by the Evo Vortex TT3 out there. And then in the lattes right now, we're looking at the fastest time as a 10:08, all shared between the TOG, TOG, VWR, the Damps, and the TT1 Team Type 1 Hypos. And then we also are going to be looking at the Mocha's 11:30, 9:57 with the ECS Triathlon in that Mocha group. They are working really well together across that 7-kilometer banner. So now we are heading toward the 15K, which is going to be over the top of the KOM. We'll probably get a little bit better splits on that. But as you can see, for the women at this point, the Choppers with a 9:57. 9:57. That's going to be the team to watch out for. It does contain Luci Charles out there today. We're going to go ahead and head on over to them and see as they start to climb over the top of their KOM where the heart rates are at. And you can see Charles here with a heart rate of 152 beats per minute as she leads out her team.
Take a look at that split. 9:57 from the Choppers there at the first checkpoint at 7K. So, yeah, I was anticipating this would be one of the most exciting teams to watch out here, and they have not disappointed. So, Nathan, watching the Choppers right now, they're 11.2K in, so about a quarter of the way. That next checkpoint at 15K, that's going to be significant because then you've taken in that first climb, right? That I think that's going to tell us a lot about how your team is doing, and that's going to be a real benchmark out there about a third of the way in. So we've already started seeing teams coming through that point here. This is the benchmark.
We were saying 104 is the time. If we start doing some math here at 7K.
Yeah, extrapolate that out. Yeah.
We try and extrapolate that out. We're looking at about 10 minutes per 7K is what it sounds like, plus the climbing in here. So let me just go ahead and open up a little bit of calculator, and we're looking at, it's going to be right on the edge, actually. It's going to be right on the edge, I think. And we're going to have to see some speed pickup here, I think, in order to bring down the HDLR Purple Armada at a 104. I think we're looking at
what I love,
maybe a 110 or so. So we're going to have to see if they start ramping things up. We're going to have to bring some serious time back here to challenge the Viennas at the HDR Purple Armada number 2.
What do you know about that team, HDRL Purple Armada 2? Because that certainly it raises an eyebrow, certainly, when you look at how strong this group of ladies that we have here. But, there's a lot of things that you realize.
So the Aussie Hump Day Ride ladies. So there's the AHDR team, and then there's a ladies specific team for the AHDRs, and a lot of times that was led a lot of those clubs that came out of those group rides that are huge out on Zwift is that the ride leaders a lot of time will start forming teams in order to represent different categories even within that ride. So the HDRL is the ladies side of the HDR team, and definitely strong riders. They ride a lot out on Zwift at a 104.30. I think it is the last one across the line too. So even if there were a couple of riders that are a little boosted at all, it is still going to be, I believe, the last one across the line. 4 riders. I think it's the fourth rider.
This group would. Fourth rider, right? So you're going to see varied sizes of teams here, all the way from 3 up to 8. But I believe for a 5-rider team, and we should ask Martin, but I'm going to say that it's off the 4th rider's front wheel. So, all right, Nathan, it's going to be interesting to see how this all shakes out. That's for sure. As we're just in the early going here. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We're out on sand and sequoias. This is more the sequoia part, little pterodactyl shadow going over the top of the riders, offering some temporary reprieve. You don't get that in real life, do you? As we watch this is going to be again with the women's group, we call them the Viennas, and we're going to be jumping around and picking up some of the top men's teams out there as well. Wow, I have to say it's working amazingly well. I was expecting a little more pandemonium, Nathan, than what we have here. This has been very organized and pretty locked down as far as all of these teams' efforts.
We are just seeing coming out onto course Steve Milliken from the WTRL. This is one of the race organizers, actually, so it's good to see them. They put in a ton of work, so just wanted to shout out to the WTRL boys that have put in a ton of work, obviously, to organize this. Lots in the background, and if you ever want to jump into these races, you do need to go and sign up over on their website. They do pull all the data from zwiftpower.com, but then they also organize that data afterwards on the WTRL with all of the results. So definitely the place to go for that. So Steve Milliken out here, he is going to be riding for the Wanderers, is what they're called out here today. They're in the Frappe group. So they just got going out on course starting at the 17:41 mark on the day out here. So good to see them hammering away right now. And so they're just getting out on course for the Frappes. So going to be, obviously a little bit staggered here. A long day as we want to get everybody's results in, as they all started out separately, obviously, out here today. The last espressos to get out on course was containing a group with Ali Peckover, actually, from Team Evo. So good to see the man coming out of Britain here who rides, I believe, on a UCI Conti team with a couple of others out there. It looks like hammering away. A little bit mixed up with a few other teams, it looks like, as they were starting to catch teams. Need to come flying right on by, as it looks like some WTRLs mixed in amongst them. Rasmussen there's Garodi there, as well as Ali Peckover, though, hammering away 320 watts right now coming from these boys. They head toward the first 7-kilometer mark to go.
Boy, that looks like an armada, doesn't it? Looking at the Peckover group here. Wanted to give a shout out to our friends at Presta Coffee in Tucson, Arizona. Curtis Zimmerman, he's been hanging out with Timothy Rugg, who's taking on the Race Across America. He's going to be riding on Zwift 15 hours a day for the next 10 days or so. What an amazing, amazing endeavor out there. So this team is going to be blazingly fast, Nathan. These guys are at 50 kilometers per hour right now.
Yeah, it's going to be a hard one to mess with. As far as picking out teams out here today and favorites to watch, obviously I'm going to have to call out as far as the espressos go. We're looking at Dig Deep Coaching. We're looking at Team PO Auto for sure. We're looking at Ram Racing. I'll be watching out with the Luke Pollard out there. Very strong team. WTRL Volendam obviously has had one of the fastest times so far through the first split. Let's go ahead and take another look here at the splits as they do come through. And it looks like, as we will go ahead and reload them on up for the day so far. This is the Vienna. They have not come up over the top of the 15K to go mark, 15K in to go in mark yet, obviously. So as we wait for them to hit that KOM, we'll see what's going on with the Viennas. But you can see the splits here as they start to come in for the espressos. And right now, it does look like the fastest time set so far through the 7K. And you were right on the spot there, Dave. My mistake. That 9:57 coming from the Vienna ladies there with Luci Charles is a blazing fast time, because look at these men's times here: a 10:01, 10:15. They're within striking distance, top, as you said. Top 20%, I think you were saying, is probably where they're going to be sitting.
Yeah, certainly not disappointing out there, that's for sure. Nathan, the Evo team, these guys are all monsters. Can you do me a favor? Can we check in with the dropouts boys? I'm curious to see how they're doing, because this is a team that has a lot of heavy hitters on it as well, and definitely brought the mustard to the table. So
Boniface out there, and I do believe quick shout out to the Dads Inside Riding trainer side of the Boniface household, because I did see his son did jump out on course again with some dropouts in the name, and that's always fun to see. But as soon as we can find the man himself, Boniface, and the rest of the dropouts boys, we will jump in with them.
Thank you. I don't mean to be producing from here. That's not fair. You've got so much going on there. I just get really curious. And that's one of the teams, Nathan, as you've been helping me get up to speed with how this works. That's one of the teams that I've really come to enjoy watching racing. That's the Dropouts squad that I'm talking about, mostly Canadian and Americans. But that's not the reason I love them. It's because of the way that they race. And there you go, picking up Brett Boniface and company here. He's one of the Canadians on this squad. We need to get their in-game jersey, don't we?
Yeah, eventually we definitely do. Now, they did just launch their team recently, and it does take quite a while to get kits in game, but they've been showing up and doing the work, so we'll see what ends up happening with that. But as you can see, as far as the splits go, looking through to see if we are picking up the split here for the dropouts, and it is going to be a 9:34 and a 21, so they're a little ways behind there. WTRL Volendam, they're killing it there. I think with the fastest time, 19:26 actually, coming from that Volendam team. So very strong showing here coming from them. And the man to be watching out for as far as the leader amongst them, from what I'm being told, is going to be Tibor Zwan. From what I can see in the results. So solid result here so far coming from that team. We're going to see if Dignity Coaching can take that down, but the dropout's a little bit behind. May have a little bit to do, though, with the reality of the bikes that they chose on the day. Their setup, one of the slower setups with the safety bike.
Yeah, that's sure. Well, like having some fun with it out here, and good job, guys. Although that is not going to bode well for them when you look at what Evo is doing right now. But on this little downhill sector, they're starting to pick up some momentum as well. Okay, well, we're starting to get some time checks in now from out on course that are starting to tell the story, no doubt. The World Tactical Racing League, I would say the gold standard of clubs and organizers out here. Thanks a lot, guys. To really appreciate having this. Now, Nathan, WTRL, if you had to take a guess, that club's going to have quite a few members, isn't it? It looks like they have multiple teams out here racing today. I'm correct.
Yeah, right? They've got a whole lot of teams racing out here today. WTRL is showing up in force. Now, Tibor Zwan, it looks like
that's
78 races. Yeah, for the Volendam team. I'm looking at his results, actually. We'll see if we can grab Tibor out on course. I think we're with him here. They are just coming through for their lap. And 5.3 watts per kilogram currently coming out of the Netherlands. Looks like it's mainly going to be a Dutch team as they start their second lap. They've got an amazing time, obviously, so far, setting the current time to beat with that it looks like a 1926 and an 836 for their the two splits as they came on through. So at 15K, they were at that 1926. So absolutely flying so far. We'll see if they can hold on to this kind of speed all the way to the end as they lead the results so far. We'll see what's going on in a couple of the other categories real quick here. Go ahead, Dave.
I was going to say Team Poato 16 seconds back at that check. They were the closest a reference point there, but go ahead, Nathan, jumping on to another category here. Our espresso.
Yeah, well, 16
group.
seconds back, actually. I think you're right on there with the 1926 and 1942. Yep. I think PO Auto are really going to be the battle here from what we can see. We'll see if the dropouts can bring anything back. You do see in the results with 21 seconds. It's going to be a minute and a half to bring back over the next 20 plus K. It's going to be a tough ask for them. The next striking, the next ones within striking distance, I think, are going to be LD Fat Stags out there actually as they're looking to try and take down the time there with about a minute and 15. It's definitely doable, but this Dutch team is so well oiled. Take a look at how they're riding on the front end here. Ooms is in here from CLS. As you can see, it does look like at the front. Now look at how they're rotating. I absolutely love the watts per kilometer. It's one thing we haven't focused on so far about how they rotate through. Zwan to the front, 5.2. Now we are seeing Zarimba now coming on through. The Polishman now pushing up in the 5.0 watts per kilogram. 4.0. Powell's at the back here. Race 3Rs. You can see a Bretta now as well. It does look like they're working very well with one sitting on the back, getting some rest. 168. Everybody putting in their work. Look at the rotation. It almost looks like an in real life team.
This is as good as it gets out here right now. So, Nathan, this team that we're looking at to help me out here, because I am impressed. I mean, this looks like a U.S. Postal Service in their heyday out there.
This is the WTRL Volendam Dutch team that's shown up on the day.
They're fastest team on course.
Fastest on the course right now, and they just look really smooth working their way through.
If you can emulate what these guys are doing, please do. Again, very few folks can, but this is an impressive job. They are putting on a clinic right now, talking about the World Tactical Race League, our host club. This is their A squad, no doubt about it, the Volendam boys. And again, perfect. Well done, gentlemen. So let's watch what they're going to do. Our next check comes up. It's actually quite a ways away. They're about I'd say 15 kilometers away from that next check, Nathan. And that comes up right around 8 kilometers before our finish here. So we've got a little bit of a dark side of the moon area right now as far as getting time checks. But just look at this average speed that they're carrying here. I shouldn't say average speed. The current speed is at 50 kilometers per hour as they make their way through. This is Fuego Flats, isn't it, that we're hitting now?
Yeah, we're out on the Fuego Flats, and now we're taking a look at the splits there for the Vienna on the women's side now. It does look like Luci Charles and her team now have put down a solid time of 22:36 up and over the top there. That they're through the lap, and I believe right around, we'll have to figure out what their plus was on their time, because at 29 minutes, we said that we were wondering if they were going to be able to break the course record here for the Viennas. And as you can see here, for the Viennas, we're looking at a 104.30 for this team, the Choppers, to try and beat. So we'll see if they can pull this off. I think it is definitely doable as we're looking at 30 minutes through there. So they're well within breaking the 1 hour mark, actually. They look like they might be beating it by an hour at this point if they can keep this up.
Yeah, I was going to say,
not Nathan, an hour, under the hour. Excuse me, not beating it by an hour, under the hour at that 104.30. But then usually they tend to get faster if they didn't put out too much early on. 155 beats per minute here currently coming from Luci Charles, similar to what we saw from Lionel Sanders hammering out on Richmond the other day and winning the Pro-Am, which was pretty, or not the Pro-Am, but the Classics race.
Beating Matthew Vanderpool.
No, not the Classics race. Excuse me. There was too many races going on. It's like, oh my gosh, it was the Alpecin Phoenix one-off race. It wasn't a Classics race because the women raced on Sunday. So excuse me, but I mean, look at the low heart rate and the steady effort here. They're just an amazing athlete when it comes to these steady time trials. Very different situation when you're talking about the kind of athlete we're looking at right now out on the bike compared to what we're usually seeing in Zwift racing. But this is their forte. These kind of steady state efforts.
Yeah, and this is short, to be honest, when you talk about a time trial effort for Luci Charles. And the most of this team is actually triathletes that we're looking at. So, I mean, this is classic. If you want to talk about what an elite endurance athlete does, Luci Charles understands the sport so well. She doesn't go out hard and blow up. She's able to maintain what so many people wish they could do. Time trialing is all about putting it up one click below the red zone and leaving it there and keeping, like, you don't want to see a lot of power spikes when you go back and look at your power file after a ride like this. You want to see a flat line. That means you did a great job of keeping it steady out there. It's not about up and down and surging, and if you're doing that, again, you're doing it wrong. Luci Charles shows you this steady state effort. What a master. I mean, she is putting on a master class in how you lead a team time trial. Now, a little bit of a split happening in this group, and that's what you have to be careful of. That's exactly, Nathan, what I was talking about. When Luci Charles hits the front, the ambition and the talent is at such a high level that she has to be careful that she doesn't split the team behind her and put some of her, I mean, her time is not taken off of her wheel. It's taken off of the fourth rider in this group. You're only as good as the weakest link in the chain kind of thing. I mean, there's so many analogies that apply to riding a team time trial. One of the trickiest things in the world to do is to be the strongest rider on a team time trial squad. One of the most brutal things that you can go through as an athlete is to be the weakest rider on a team time trial squad. And I mean that with all due respect. Courage is what it takes to jump in with Luci Charles and ride with her in this team, because you're going to go through 43 kilometers. You're going to have a couple of really bad spells where it's going to be a minute or two where you really don't think you're going to be able to continue doing this through the finish. And that's what it takes to be an athlete at this level, is fighting through that self-doubt, fighting through those moments to be able to come good again. I mean, you look at for an Ironman triathlon, you're going to be out there for over 8 hours, and there's going to be multiple times where you feel like a dog's breakfast. And ultimately,
that is the greatest analogy I've ever heard. Oh man.
So I'm sorry, Nathan. I was going off on team time trialing a little bit there, but
No,
I just
it's great.
love this
It's awesome.
discipline.
It's absolutely
so
great.
much.
That's what we need, because that's what this is about, really telling the story and the ethos of the sport. Because this is definitely something new. It's a genre we haven't really experimented with in broadcast before. It's great the work that WTRL is doing, obviously, and how we can work with them to get all the stats on screen, supplement the broadcast, and see. I mean, without that, we wouldn't really have much to look at here. You know, a couple of extra things we're doing in the background to make sure we can jump around on course, which has been really great. And then we've got amazing athletes like this showing up and putting everything on the line. And I think we're going to see some record breaking here now for the WTRL World Tactical Racing League, actually out on the San Sequoias, specifically from these Vienna girls. But now we were getting some requests here for the I believe it was the Frappe times, and we are going to go ahead and jump in with the Frappe boys here, as we are looking at Cromartie here right now in this Frappe. That's going to be essentially the B category out on course. And currently, for the race 3R, I believe that is going to be this group right here. I'm just going to double check with Cromartie and which team he is riding for out here. And that is going to be Tom Crom, Frappe 3R Buck Fizz. And these boys here are currently sitting at a 22:02. That is not quite the fastest time. They're currently chasing down the Evo Vortex as well as the WTRL Beat team at 21:44 and a 21:14. Evo Vortex are really demolishing this out here today, though. That is a crazy time here coming from them at looks like 21:14 right now at the 15-kilometer split. But it does look like it could be brought back by this team. They're 45 seconds back if they can really start to bump it up. You can see Cromartie here now starting to put out 5 watts per kilogram in this Frappe category. So maybe getting a little bit of TV time, showing something here at 176 beats per minute, but they're going to have to put some work in to bring that 45 seconds back.
Nothing brings more good karma to your team than a World Bicycle Relief jersey. That's for sure. I love our friends at 3R. They do a great job of raising money for multiple charities. Here they are now looking to rally the watts. Good job out here, gentlemen. This squad. Going back now, Nathan, I'm looking at these time checks. For this group, I see a 21:14, correct? That looks like the fastest time for these guys. Evo Vortex,
that's
correct?
Evo Vortex. I'm seeing if I can find Evo Vortex out on course. I'm having a little bit of trouble locating them. As soon as I do, we'll go ahead and check in with them and see how they're getting on, as I have a feeling they're most likely going to be heading up into the KOM here in just a few moments. So as they are absolutely flying on course, I definitely want to see if we can find them and see how the race is getting on with some live shots.
Nathan, question for you. How many of these teams do you think are on Discord and communicating that way for folks that are new? I'd love to jump in.
So next week we'll try and get in with a lot of them, as I think almost all of them most likely are. I think they're all communicating very well right now. If they aren't, it's definitely going to be a disadvantage a little bit, as we just have another rider jumping on the back here. But it does look like Tom now getting back into the draft, as Marino now takes over the front for this race 3R team. But yeah, definitely going to be communicating Discord, asking, if somebody's in a spot of bother, they're going to be sitting in just a little bit longer. Hey, I'm going to take who can take a pull at this point? Who's got something extra in the tank? I'll go for 45. How much does that help, actually, just to have that communication for how much longer you need to hold at whatever you're actually doing at that moment, right? That's just so helpful.
You don't normally have that. Yeah, I mean, typically there's not radio communication inter-team. It's from the director back in the car that would be talking. I mean, if we're talking about racing at the World Tour level anyways, you don't have a chance to talk with the other riders. It's all on feel out there. You're hearing from the director like, hey, Dave, whatever it might be, the direction that you need. It's great for these guys to be able to communicate, and women to communicate with each other and be like, hey, look, I'm in a spot of bother right now. Just if you guys can wait, I won't be pulling through. That kind of thing makes a big difference. Communication is huge when you talk. I mean, we have seen it work to teams' advantages, and the chaos that ensues when teams don't know what's going on. It can be really quite a spectacle out there at times. Think about some of the Movistar team time trials through the years, where half the team is 3K up the road from the other half and no one knows what's going on. And it creates not only stress, but legitimate inter-team anger, to be honest. This team, they're peddling with anger, but in the best way, 3R, that we're looking at right now.
This is the current leaders here. I was able to find them out on course. Evo Vortex Team Time Trial 3. I believe this is the leaders. Or is it Team Time Trial 1? I believe we jumped in with the right one. There's a lot of Evo Vortex. So here's the other thing. Is it's such a popular event that there's just so many teams out on course. But from what I can see here, Evo Vortex TT1. Is there Evo Vortex TT3? Okay, no, excuse me. Sorry. So these boys are sitting at 22:42. We'll see if we can find Evo Vortex 1 out on course. They're going to be a little further ahead. Let's go ahead and jump back in, though, with the Espresso boys as we want to see what's happening with Dig Deep Coaching and the crew coming out of the Netherlands, the Dutchmen, who were hammering away. Here we do have, it looks like McCann here from DDC as they head into their climb. Yep, they're just starting into the climb. It does look like they dropped one off, actually. Interesting to see. Were there 4 that showed up? Because if there were 4 that showed up, it'll be the first 3 across the line. But if they had 5, where is the fourth man is going to be a very important question. But I believe they showed up before. They dropped somebody off out here today.
Well, to be honest, Nathan, if they have 5 and the time is taken off the 4th rider's wheel, then this is a huge, huge mistake. Because what good does it do to bring 3 riders across the line when your 4th rider is still somewhere struggling for his life out in the Sequoias? So, again, I'm going to guess that these guys are smart enough to know that this is a 4-rider team, time taken off the 3rd rider, and one of the men just couldn't hang with them. That has to be the case. I'm going to assume it is. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt here. That's going to be the Dig Deep coaching team that we're talking about right now. And again, this is the chaos and the pandemonium that takes place out there. I did want to agree with James Hodges, by the way. James, big fan here in Fort Collins, Colorado, giving you a shout out. And he's right. If they're doing it right out here, the communication is just grunting for the most part. But it still matters. The one grunt can say 1,000 words, right? Yeah, are you going to pull through, Nathan? If I hear a grunt, I'll know no. Right?
That's exactly right. I absolutely love it. A little bit of humor there coming from James as well. If they're doing it right, it's nothing but a little bit of grunting. As if it is an all-out effort, it's going to be very difficult to talk because we are looking at the DDC. And we are hearing from, I actually just got chatter here coming directly from Stephen Gallagher, who I think is still... Did Steven make the pack here, or did he get dropped off? I think Steven's actually messaging me as he's watching the broadcast, and he was the 4th man who did drop off. So he says he gave a gas first lap and let everybody have his power and speed for the first lap, and now is letting the 3 go. So it is the first 3. So a little bit of tactical move here coming from DDC as they are currently holding on to a pretty solid time, though, so far.
So Steven, a self-admitted booster rocket, then, if this team was a space shuttle. He got them through the first lap with some juice and then said, boys, go get me a win.
And that looks like what they're going for here. Now, DDC, from what I can see on the results right now, are standing. Where are DDC on here? They were on here a little bit earlier. We'll see if we can update this here real quick. Perhaps we've got a few too many loading up here. Now, again, this is the first time, you guys, that we have been bringing these live results in. So because of that, we sometimes it can be a little bit of a a little bit of a struggle. First time through getting live results, bringing them in on these splits. And we will have full results, though, for sure, as we get those going out on course here. So, but currently, DDC had a solid time there, but not seeing them currently loading into the results right now. We'll see if maybe we can get something on the back end here to update that. But the current times in the splits here still going to be Valendam hammering it with the WTR team. Absolutely killing it with that 19:26. But we're going to come into the end of the race here pretty soon, and I think we're going to start seeing some of these riders really start to ramp things up as we are back in with the Danish team now, though. Peterson here with Team Pio Auto. This was another team that had some solid times. Pio Auto looking at a 19:42, and they were the main team actually chasing down the leaders. So they were in second place through the 15-kilometer mark. We'll see if they did pick them up through the 35. And
remembering, Nathan,
we'll get them across the line. Go ahead, Jake. Yep.
Sorry there, Nathan. Remembering that data is getting a little stale right now as well. This is the team that is absolutely in the mix, PO Auto, the Danish team. at last check, 16 seconds. This very well could be deadlocked right now because these guys are coming good. I really like the mindset that this team has had. They definitely kept something in the tank for the finale here. We're going to be coming up on 35K, so that final check before they go into that last about 7.5 kilometers to the finish line from the third checkpoint out here. But this is one of the teams to watch, no doubt about it. But guys, watch out here. Guys. That's what you'd be hearing if you had a Belgian director. Guys. That always means, hey, slow up for a second because you're dropping your team here. And there you go. They're back together.
That's exactly what was going on here. Now, I'm wondering if we're going to start seeing things split apart a little bit, though, because it's
toughest on the climb.
They don't need every one of these riders to get across, right? So I do believe they can start dropping riders off at a certain point, and we'll see if that ends up happening here as we do see Pio Auto here now come through the final few K. It is going to be 42K in total, so a little bit more than 10 to go. About right around 10K to go out here. And the current course record for the Espressos right now is going to be a 55.26, 40:47 in 10K. I think we're going to see record breaking here today. I really do. I think that's going to be well within record breaking.
I think every category sees a new record out here, actually. I'm not exactly sure on the latte and the mocha, but certainly Vienna, that will be the case. Nathan, these women on that Vienna team are, I would say, even better than the top 20% of the fastest men's group. They're in the top 15% of the fastest men's group out here. And Nikki, Luci, and company are absolutely railing it now. I mean, they've been in the pain cave here for the better part of 40 minutes. Most of the teams, somewhere between 50 and 40 minutes, most of the teams have been riding out here right now. Here's another well-organized squad. As we look at the women I was just talking about, Luci Charles. Luci spending a lot of time on the front. Nathan doing exactly what I was talking about at the beginning of the show. She doesn't go faster when she hits the front. She just stays up there longer. Brilliant job, Luci Charles.
Yeah, as you can see, getting a little mix up here. Sorry on the overlays, everybody, real quick there. But as you can see, the choppers here with that 22:36 as we're waiting for them to come through this next split. They have a solid padding, though, up against the rest of the women in the Vienna here now is at 27:38 in there for the TOG women. Revo Locos, it looks like at a 24:34. They're the closest there with about 2 minutes between them and the choppers. I would be, with the kind of class that are in here, the world class, obviously top of the world class amongst the ladies here in this specific discipline. Going to be very hard to bring those 2 minutes back, but we'll have to see if they are able to do so. Revo's not counting them out completely. We'll have to wait and see if we can find them on course. And then it's going to be Bergen Triathlon Lioness at 31, and then ZESP coming through at 26 through that 15K mark. So it is 20K between the splits here. We'll have to wait and see how it ends up playing out. As they will get the next split, though, as they come over the top of that Queen of the Mountain here in just a moment. And we'll start populating results here pretty soon, most likely, because a lot of these teams are going to be finishing right around that hour mark, and then we'll start getting ideas of where everybody will start to finish, and we'll start clicking around a whole lot more at that point, because that's when we're going to start seeing riders coming in and letting us know exactly what kind of times they're starting to set. Looking at the times, though, we do have the times from this morning as well. So there are 5 zones there, or is it 6 zones? I believe it's five zones, I believe, though. In the 5 zones, they will all populate. So we will have zone 1, 2, and 3 all populating before the end of the broadcast out here today. And from this morning, in the first go, we do see the times here coming on in, and this was from the Vienna's HDR Purple Armada in time trial number 51 with a 1:08.58. 2 minutes back, it was the Kelpies, followed up by the Viking Freya. And this will start to populate as the Vienna ladies start to finish out here today. In the Espresso, we saw a 1 hour and 4 seconds is the fastest time with SSS, as you can see there, and all the way down through 7th place with Trimar team. So I think a lot of these are going to be broken, though, from this morning zone, actually, throughout the day here. Looking through then for earlier today in the frappes, 105 was the fastest time. And then coming on through in the lattes with a 106 with dirty bibs. And then looking at the mochas, we saw 116.41 this morning. So that is the WTRL. Now, next week, though, we're not all done just yet, but next week we're doing WTRL's first birthday out on the Tempest Fugit for 2 laps. So number 52, be sure to be here for that as we look to cover next week's WTRL race. We'll make this a weekly thing as it's been a lot of fun. And the production, it'll get only better and better as we continue on with the racing out here with the World Tactical Racing League.
Okay, Nathan, we should have a time check for PO Auto and Evo at 35K. This is going to be huge. Place your bets, ladies and gentlemen. These are 2 of the fastest teams in the world. In the world of virtual team time trialing, this is the platinum standard. So we're going to get a check
Hansen
here.
From Volendam actually got dropped off from up ahead. Swart here now coming on in. It looks like over the top of the climb as well as the dropouts are chasing them down. Dig Deep coaching now looking. I mean, this is all the teams. They're all kind of bunching up within a minute of each other. It's great to see. Cops are out here as well, moving forward a little bit. It does look like W. Wall is just dropping off a few of his boys out to the front of this group here. So we're gonna try and keep eyes on how everybody's finishing out in this espresso category. I believe Cops were the first ones to jump out on course, though, for the Cs.
They were. So, hey, Nathan, can we take a look at our splits? I'm not sure if they've recorded at 35K or not, but they should have, as most of the teams are. There we go.
Jumping through here, we got the Viennas just coming through.
Yeah, the men, though, have. The men, not
double check here. And, yep, we do have a couple of times. We do have a couple of times. Thanks a lot. I appreciate that, Dave. 44-44. Whoa! Volendam are demolishing this, but PO Auto brought it within. Look at the time here. 45:06. PO Auto. They have
It's not
time.
over.
It is
not over.
It is not over by a long shot.
Awesome. I cannot wait to watch this. Ladies and gentlemen, you've got yourself an absolute Donnybrook going on right now. PO Auto at 45:09. I'm going to add 16 and 9 and come up with 25 seconds is the split. It's WTRL. That's the World Tactical Racing League Volendam squad. They've got the fast time. That is a 44:44 at 35K. We're going to start filling in now all of the different categories, but I don't think anyone's going to be quicker than that. And remember, you only have 7K left after that final checkpoint Charlie at 35K.
Yeah, and I'm just going to go ahead and see if we can jump in. This is Volendam. This is coming into the final few Ks here. What kind of effort they can put on through. As soon as they get across the line, we'll be looking for the time split. Across the line results, they try to update within 5 seconds. We'll see if we can get them within 5 seconds. It may take about 15 to 30 seconds to get an official time, though, out on course here. And Volendam, though, absolutely hammering away. They were the leaders at the last split at 44:44. PO Auto trying to bring it back, though. 16, let's say we're looking at about 25 seconds difference here. Up and out of the saddle here. Swan now 11 watts per kilogram. They're looking for the first 4 across the line here now as they're trying to just hold on. Ooms has to hold on to the wheel now as they drag themselves across the line. We'll see what the times are going to be once they do update here. Solid effort, though, coming in from Volendam out on course. Now, 3 are just across the line now. Little ways back within the category. We're looking for the PO Auto boys. Does look like Deep Coaching are out on this, coming out toward this section of course next, as well as the Cops. But PO Auto, this is the team that we're chasing them down. Have they slowed, or are they bringing time back between the dropouts and the rest? We're seeing a couple of riders here giving some directions. Drop off, Garcia. Drop off. Maybe tell one of the riders here to get off the back of the train. Don't worry about it. We don't need you any longer. Just get to the line.
Yeah, I mean, everybody has their role. A team time trial is like working at a corporation. You understand what you're supposed to do when you're at work. Stay in your lane as well. The big engines now really come into play. I mean, these guys have been out there for 39K. They've got 4K in front of them. This is where you really separate the wheat from the chaff. Strong men only need to apply at the front of the group. PO Auto's got some work to do. I mean, they're going to need to bring back in the neighborhood of 4 or 5 seconds per kilometer here. That's a big ask, Nathan. I don't know that the way Volendam, WTRL Volendam, that's the team that has our fastest time. They have been the platinum standard out here on the Sand and Sequoias, and they're just about done and dusted. They got the brass tacks out now. They're doing the finishing work here on what has turned into a beautiful build. This is how you race through 40 kilometers of a 43-kilometer team time trial. Going back to the Danish squad, though, Nathan, watching PO Auto, they're the team that is the danger squad out here for our men from WTRL.
Yeah, and as you can see, we also going to take a quick look at the dropouts. A 46.40 is what they were able to pull off here. And so I believe they are sitting in third place overall at this point. But it looks like there's a little bit of fading going on. Schwartz just trying to hang on. They need 4. It does look like Luke, G, and Boniface really taking the poles at the front here. John Mrzik now trying to hang on, but Schwartz dropping off. Not sure he's going to be able to hang on all the way to the line as they need 4 to get there here. But now it does look like Schwartz now starting to bump it up. Boniface and Luke G holding up just a little bit. We'll see how much time they can bring back before the finish.
I think Lloyd Jones is correct, Nathan, that they were asking a rider to leave the team that wasn't on the team. I would agree with that. As I'm learning a lot about I think we're all learning a lot about how you race a team time trial out here. But the problem is these teams don't want single riders jumping in the mix with them. Exactly what we're seeing right now. I appreciate that rider not well. Also, they probably couldn't if they're going that fast when they roll by you would pick up the dropouts team, Nathan. As these guys had a tactical error. Well, actually, they're having fun, but they didn't pick the fastest bikes today.
Yeah. There was a little bit of an update, a warning that was going to be happening. So we'll see how that ends up playing out for them on the day. I think it was mainly for the workout and having a little bit of fun on the day, which is always great to see. Now, we do have the cops here coming to the line. We only picked up one of their splits, actually. I'm going to see if I can update the splits here, and if perhaps we can get a couple more. Again, we are working on getting quicker refreshing once in a while, just to be totally transparent with everyone. 5109 for the Choppers and the Viennas. We'll jump back in with Luci Charles and the rest of them in just a moment here. But as you can see here, there's the splits. This is great, actually. They are jumping in a little bit, but it looks like the cops came through so fast that we might not have been able to pick up every one of them as they came through that KOM banner, just so you know. So this is new tech for us, bringing it into the broadcast. So once in a while, if we do not get a quick enough refresh rate, we do miss them through there. We are working on getting a faster refresh rate so we do not miss a single one of the riders as they do get their times coming through those tick marks out on course. But it does look like the cop's going to get a solid time out here. And there was a 22:10 coming through 15K, I believe. We'll see how this ends up being at 2 minutes plus. I think we're looking at just under an hour, actually, coming in from these riders.
Yeah, I think you're going to see right now here, when you really dig in, the stronger teams will start putting in some negative splits. As hard as that is to believe, they'll start actually going faster now as they'll empty the tank coming into the finish line.
There's the current situation there. 58:27 from WTRL is the time to beat. So we'll wait for the next updates to come on through. But they beat this morning's zone by 1:37 at WTR Volendam. The Dutchmen out there hammering away. Boniface with one last kick here to the line with the dropouts as they're looking to grab a solid time out on course. We'll see what their split ends up being as they cross the line. Solid result here for Boniface and the rest of the team from dropouts. But this is the team that was chasing them down. These last seconds could matter. It could come down to 5, 2, 1. We'll have to wait and see what it's going to be. 53:02 currently coming from the PO Auto boys as getting a little bit of a disappearance there out on course. Interesting to see. We'll see if we can jump back in with them in just a second here.
This is what I was expecting the whole day to look like. Actually, riders all over the shop. But it looks like, okay, Nathan, this is why you earn your money every single day out here on Watopia, because this is going to be absolute chaos. We've got riders finishing, I think, anyways. Yep, there you go. So some of our the cops are here. I've heard that before.
And there is the Cups. It's the Cups. The Cups have made it across the line. Here's P.O. Auto. They just got across the line. We'll see when it does update over at zippower.com. Let's jump back in with Luci Charles and the ladies, though, as they're out on course. Let's take a quick look at their splits, as we do have a feed from there. And as that does, as they do update their times, we'll make sure to see whether or not they were able to beat the course record. Now, again, remember the course record here is going to be 104. 104. Let's take a quick here. 104.30 was the course record. Kiss Finesse, though, interesting to see in the Espresso. I'm not sure we have a new record, actually. No, WTRL Volendam is 58. So Kiss Finesse actually held on to their best time by 3 minutes only, actually. So that's an amazing time there coming in from Kiss Finesse. Set quite a while ago here. So interesting to see. They're a strong
right
team,
to me.
They're definitely a strong team. Kiss with Finesse.
No, not about Kiss Finesse, but at that time, are we sure we don't have to subtract some time from that? Because, I mean, if you look at their split with 7K to go, weren't they at 44? There's no way that they would take more than 10 minutes to ride 7K.
Looking through.
But anyways, you know what? I shouldn't doubt results. This is something that I'll let it all figure out. But I saw them as faster, to be honest. But
coming through, there was so we don't do it. The math is all done with WTRL and pulled directly from their servers, and so each one of them are tracked on through. If there does need to be some sort of an update to them, though, I think they'll catch it. And
we'll see.
We'll have to wait and see what ends up happening with the data coming in from WTRL. So
if you go back and look at those splits, though, at 35K, weren't they in the mid 44s, like a 44-44 or something like that at 35K? So that's just my reasoning, anyways. Volendam was a 53-13, I'm hearing, for their time, which would be faster than 55-26 by a couple of minutes. I think I might be right, Nathan.
You might be right. Yeah, you might be right. So maybe the results do need an update. We'll have to wait and see.
Let's give it a moment. Let it breathe, as they say, as my dad used to say. Let it breathe for a minute, and we'll figure it out. But we still got teams out on course as well.
I am getting messages actually coming on through from WTRL saying all of them are correct. I hope so. Again, this is we're working on it. We're working on the results, everybody, in this, and you can get official results over at WTRL after the event, as well as over on Zwiftpower.com. They'll be updated the next day, but we'll be waiting to see how it ends up playing through. You were saying that Volendam was 53-13. Pete Butler's letting us know. So we'll have to wait and see if we do get an update for WTRL. That's coming from chat, but we're getting a double check here from Martin, who's our man behind the scenes at WTRL. Now, this is going to be the Choppers coming to the line. We'll see if they do set a new record here. I believe it is going to happen by quite a lot. They're just over an hour, but that is with the time that needs to be taken off from when their start time was. So as they come across here with 104.30 from the Purple Armada, they're absolutely smashing this time, actually, by a few minutes. So obviously world level, 193 beats per minute. Luci Charles with another kick here. Look at that, much the heart rate has gone out here, up to 176. Amazing
this
time.
Is world class. Absolutely. I mean, that's after 45 minutes or so, she can then go into overdrive. Nikki, same thing. That really impressive job by the ladies. They completely pulverized the existing record out there to absolutely no one's surprise.
Yeah, and that was definitely to be expected. So we are hearing Martin's letting us know something is not calculating correctly. So we're going to wait and get some official results, updating with the results as soon as possible. So as soon as they do come on through,
there we go.
In the back end, and you were right on the money there, Dave. You said you looked at it, and you said that does not seem right on the results there. So called it out. That's the experience coming through from watching bike races and seeing the K's kick down with the time. As I'm just reading it.
It's funny, but yeah, exactly. People would say like, but I mean, I probably in my life have announced over 200 time trials, right? Not many team time trials, but we've done them at Tour de Georgia. We've done them at Tour of Utah. Univest had this discipline. So yeah, I mean, yeah, real life experience never hurts, does it?
Not at all. We are so as the results do come in, we'll be bringing them up on the screen here in just a moment. We are looking at the Evo team, another Evo team out on course, NCCC. Good to see them as they hammer away. Currently finishing out their team time trial as we look to get. There's so many. Another thing, everybody, that a little bit of patience with us with this many starters. Making sure that you know every one of them and who they are and what they are doing out on course is, I mean, following it all along can be an amazing feat. We'll just put it that way. It can be an absolutely amazing feat. So we're looking to make sure that it happens.
People don't realize as well. So I'm sitting here in Fort Collins, Colorado, and I'm commentating along with you. You're not only commentating, you are running the entire production from there in Wisconsin. You're handling 25,000 times more things than I am. I have the luxury of just sitting back and watching and commentating. You put the show together. I have so much respect for what you do. So the fact that you might not, I mean, you are an amazing person in your ability to do this. So thanks for, I mean, many years of entertainment. It's just an honor to join you on these broadcasts. As we pick up the Evo team here now, Nathan.
Yeah,
it's another Evo team, isn't it?
Yeah, there's like 3 or 4 Evo teams out on course, it seems like. So it's cool to see. Let's go ahead and jump in with the ladies, though, as the Revo ladies are about to finish up. It looks like 105. They might actually, depending on when they started, if they can pick up the pace a little bit here, they might also break the former course record. New course record, though, has just been set by the Choppers. Luci Charles team out there. Great to see. They showed up with some crazy world talent, so absolutely awesome. But we do have the Revo ladies now that I believe they're going to be coming in for second on the day for their team time trial. Their splits, from what we can see here for Revo Locas, was a 56-22 at the 35K to go mark. We do have the TOG women at 103.06. Now, I think it's going to be, I think these Revo ladies might be able to make this happen. With the 56-22 there, you were saying about how long to cover that kind of kilometers? 7 kilometers. So maybe
at the rate they're
just
going
on
now,
the edge.
Yeah, I would say figure that they're doing about 1 minute 10 seconds per K right now. Well, a little bit less than that, but yeah, come on, ladies, let's go. There's a great video on YouTube of a Zwifter who's been using one. I think it's Manila Size who's behind him, giving the Vanga. It makes a big difference when you've got someone trying to motivate you to go faster. Ladies, I'm doing that for you right now. Come on, let's get home. Let's go.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we want to see. We want to see them get to the line as quickly as they possibly can with a good lead out. Looks like it's coming from K Lane here now. 42 in there, kilometers in. Just a couple more to cover, a couple more meters to cover here at this point. Lane out of Switzerland, leading out the Revo girls. Now Downey here to the front. The Revo ladies, always great to see them out on course. We got a little bit of Revo swag in house actually here, as they are such an amazing team. Very enthusiastic. A little bit newer to the esports team, but just in the last year or so, they have shown up and been a spark in the community. It's been great to see, as we now have a spark at the front here coming from Saints here from Revo, coming out of Norway. Downey now following it up. Are they going to bump this up to 43 kilometers per hour to get up a little bit more speed out? It's going to be a couple seconds I think at this point. It was a 2-minute wait for sure to the start here. Depending on where they started, 2 plus 3 plus 4, they may be able to make this happen. 107.12 is going to be the time up on screen, but we'll be waiting for the official result with their time splits in just a minute. But that was the Revo ladies out on course.
Well, we're almost home. Just about all of our teams have either finished or in the final few kilometers here. It's been a great day of racing. This 43-kilometer course out here in the sand and sequoias on the Watopia world of Zwift never disappoints. I call it the proving ground. Now, Nathan, as we pick up the Evo NCCC team,
and we are seeing a couple of results actually start coming through here, Dave. A couple of results coming through. The Vienna results are in, I believe. I'm just going to double check that these are correct. But I think they have been updated, and I believe that things have been updated to be correct. Yep, and here we go. So whatever was going on there has been resolved. As here we do have the Choppers with their time at a 101.33, smashing that old course record of 104, as you can see. Average watts per kilogram of 4.38 amongst the ladies there, actually smashing the time this morning from the AHDR Purple Armada of a 4:25 and number 51 of this team time trial put on by World Tactical Racing League. Then, as we can see in the espressos, we are seeing it does look like 25 seconds. It held steady. That's like almost the same time through the splits that we saw. Amazing. 53.27, smashing the old course predator put out by Kiss with Finesse.
Isn't that fascinating? They didn't give or gain a second there in that last 7K. Both teams were absolutely at their limit, and it was pretty much the same for that run into the line. Congratulations to the World Tactical Racing League Volendam team, and you are our new world record holders. 53.27 is the benchmark time. Look at that. The average watts per kilogram were 4.55 for 53 minutes. That is bananas.
Look at the Pure Auto, though. 4.94.
Faster
which shows on watts per kilogram, which goes to give. So if we look at a Tony Martin, we look at a Bradley
So what does
Wiggins,
that tell
right?
you?
It's speed.
Yeah,
it's speed.
It's smoothness. It's not wasting watts. I mean, I think that if you were to analyze that just based on that very simple data, that tells me that WTRL were more efficient with the watts that they had. I don't know how you would analyze that any differently.
More efficient, as well as maybe just more pure power too, right? Watts per kilogram and pure power, because there is a difference there too. It isn't always a weight per kilogram that's going to create pure speed,
Sure.
out on a course.
Right.
So if you can just put out big watts in the flatter sections, you're just going to go faster. Obviously, we do see the dropouts there coming on through for third place. Ram Racing there for fourth place. Dig Deep Coaching comes through for fifth, and then it looks like Sicily Stefanelli Triathlon, the Italian team, I believe, they're coming on through and six. SSS was there this morning. It looks like, I believe that was from the stage zone this morning, actually. So, and then the LD Fat Steaks, followed up by Fodre, and then WTR Pioneers. Let's go ahead and see if we got any results coming on through for the Frappes, and this is going to be the current situation. There may be a couple more finishing out on course here, but a 59.11, as you can see, for the Evo Vortex, followed up by Viking Slepenauer. That was a close one. 4 seconds back for Evo Vortex and Viking Slepenauer.
Look at the top three. Dirt only 9 seconds out, Nathan. I mean, that was quite a race
there, riding dirty there. I mean, they're all within 1 minute. So the Frappes really throwing down out here today. Big shout out to them, and giving some solid times, all within an hour too. So those are some amazing results there for the Frappe/B categories, essentially what this would be if you're looking at regular Zwift categories. So let's go ahead and see how things ended up playing out here in the lattes. 103.40 for the lattes. Eat Dirt 2 as well as CICC now. All looks like the Dirty Bibs, though, kind of walked away with this one at a 103 over a minute 11, smashing everybody else there in this C category.
We saw a lot of world records being set out here today across just about every category. Some great racing. The men and women of Zwift, racing. Giants of the road, showed up today.
And I'm getting a lot of comments coming on through here. ATP Racing will be on the heels of Chopper and Espresso later tonight, we're hearing. So good to hear. Kenneth McGinnis, I do see you hanging out in the broadcast. It does look like the Mocha's still out on course, a few of them looking to finish up their race. So we'll wait a little bit here before we end the broadcast out here and let everybody know to head on over to watch the finish of the Pro-Am race, which is taking place at this moment over on Zwift Live. But don't forget, next week we will be back with the WTRL Team Time Trial 52. Make sure to put your reminders on. We'll be scheduling everything out on Sunday and Monday for the YouTube as well as Twitch and Facebook streams. Make sure to hit those subscribe buttons if you do like the content that's happening here. One last thing, if you're unfamiliar with the broadcast schedule, here is the broadcast schedule that we do have, and still going on later tonight. The COA Sports League Community Race and the League Race will be going on with the boys coming out of Australia. Tim Valentine and Greg McDermott are going to be out there, as well as Kappa behind the scenes with some race analysis and production. So make sure not to miss those. 6 p.m. CST, 6:45 p.m. CST. You can jump into the community race as well as the league race. You got to sign up for over at coasportsleague.com. As a private race, some cool racing coming from the Koa Sports League, putting things together in actual called events on Zwift, which is a new feature that is just being released with a few organizations out there. So it's great to see Koa putting things together for everybody out on course. Well, Dave, amazing results all around. It's absolutely awesome what we're seeing with the new stats that we've got out on our productions here. Big shout out to WTRL helping us put that together. It's only going to get better from here as we learn.
Yeah, thanks to all the racers. Nathan, I appreciate you. It was a great day again on Watopia.
Absolutely awesome. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Thanks to all the riders. It was great to see you put your efforts out there. Big shout out to the winners out there. Obviously, the Choppers coming in with Luci Charles and her team, as well as the boys coming from Volendam WTRL. Shout out to you guys. It was a great battle to watch. We'll see you guys later tonight for the Koa Sports League, and be on the watch out for next week's schedule, as we'll be looking to launch that over the weekend. Might have a couple of secret streams coming up over the weekend. We'll see. There's a lot of people doing some cool things, including Timothy Rugg. If you see him out on course, make sure to give him some ride-ons. There's also some really cool charity events that were pulling at the heartstrings. I might do a little promotional on ZCL about that, with some people doing some really great things to raise some money for some pretty awesome causes. So we'll make sure to put some stuff out on the socials about that. I'm definitely paying attention for those of you that are pinging me about that stuff. So again, everybody, great job out there. And as always, ride on.